welcome back. So as you can probably see that this is part 2, and I'm not going to be finishing the file knife. I got to editing the footage that I have shot so far. The video's already up to about 15 or 16 minutes. So I figured I'd go ahead and release this as part 2, and I'll just have a part 3 finishing up. If y'all guys like longer videos, then I can do that in the future. But I know myself, when I sit down and watch one of these videos, unless I'm doing something while I'm watching it, it's kind of hard to sit down and watch a hour long video. So I try and keep them somewhat reasonable. But if you like the longer videos, let me know. I'll be more than happy to do that. But here you go to part 2. This is getting the rough shape and the gluing up of the handle and everything. I hope y'all like it, and come back for part 3. Alright guys, so what I did was take and trace out the handle shape that I wanted, that I kind of drew up, and then I came and positioned it on here the best I could to get round about what I'm looking for. Then I took and laid the tang in here and kind of traced it out just roughly. I mean, these measurements aren't going to be 100% exact, but what I got to do now is find the center here, and we will start marking where we're going to drill down in here so that the tang slides down. So how I'm going to do that is I'm just going to take a set of calipers I got here. So it's 1.25. So we're just going to go here to 0.625. Tighten that down. And then we're just going to take and I'll mark it from both sides, just so that if there was a little bit of a difference, I don't know if that'll show up real well, but I got my line there. So now we're just going to take a drill bit that is about the same size as this, the tang, slightly smaller, and drill it out, and we'll work the rest with files and stuff. I don't particularly like burning them in. One main reason is gluing and epoxying this all up. Burning it in will cause that epoxy to loosen, so I don't want to do that. Alright guys, so I made a little mistake when I was drilling this out, or really when I put it all together. I should have saved the top piece, or at least one of the top pieces, off until gluing the whole final piece together, because trying to get this whole body drilled out for the whole thing and then filed perfectly to shape was a pain in the butt, and I ended up getting it way too big. So what I did is I just went over to the bandsaw, I cut the top piece off, we flattened that out, and then I have another piece that we're just going to glue on, and we're going to do this like we would any other guard piece. So we're going to get the center. First we're going to make sure that they're the same size. We're going to mark it out, cut them. We're going to get the center, lay the center out for the drill, and then we're going to file it like we do any other guard piece. And then, when everything's ready, we'll just glue that right on there to the top, and bada boom, bada bing, there we go. Alright, so here's the knife. The handle material kind of gives you a guess about what it is, and the guard piece. So I want to do something that I haven't never done before, and that I've seen a couple of the other makers do, and that is where they go ahead and fit this all up and glue it in a way that they're able to remove the knife tang or stick it back in and have a very tight fit, because right at the moment, it's got a little wiggle room. But the way they do that is, I've seen it two different ways, and we're going to kind of combine them, since I've never done it and I want to better my chances. So I've seen crayon, which is essentially wax, rubbed all over the tang area where the glue is going to be. Alright, there's that. And then the other thing they do, and like I said, they usually do one or the other, but I'm kind of hedging my bets here, is wrap it tightly with some Teflon tape. Alright, so right there. And, of course, it may not fit in the guard area. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stick this down there like that, and we're going to clamp it in place where the blade is pretty much in the center. And I'll take my calipers and give me some center marks. Let's get an average, because I know this piece of wood ain't even. So the average is about 31 millimeters. So half of 30 is 15, so we're going to do 15 and a half millimeters.
Alright, and we're just going to give it some quick scribe lines. I mean, it's setting pretty much center anyway, but when we clamp it, we're going to make sure that, you know, it looks good there. We're going to take and give it some center lines on that. Alright, here comes the fun part now. I hope this works, but if everything works good, we'll take, and I'll take and put a couple dabs of super glue. Once I put the knife tang and seat everything in there, I'll put a couple dabs of super glue on the guard to kind of hold it in place so I can get the rough shaping. And pretty much what this allows is me to do all the rough shaping and everything with the knife in the blank before it's actually glued up. It just, you know, sometimes when you're doing your shaping and everything, it really helps to have the knife in there, but then when you want to do some real other close shaping, you don't want to run the risk of having the blade in the way. So we're going to get to that. If you just hold tight, we'll get some epoxy mixed up and we'll start gluing it.
Alright guys, so that looks pretty good. We will let it set up. It's only 5-minute epoxy, so we'll probably let it set up for a good 30 minutes though. And we will come back and see if we're able to get that out. I sure hope so, because otherwise I think that's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt.
Here we go. It's all set up. Now, let's see if we can get this out. And look at that. I mean, the Teflon tape stayed in there, but I'm sure we can clean that out with a little bit of a file, but or a little poker just to dig it out. But there we go. Now, once we get that cleaned out of there, we'll have a really tight fit, and we can go on to profiling the handle. Alright, so we have that piece glued on. We have the knife that fits snugly in there. I mean, that thing has no wiggle room. Well, a little bit, but not a whole lot. It has just a touch of wiggle room, but I mean, I don't know if you can even pick up the amount that's on there. So what we're going to do now is just take the template I cut out of what I wanted the shape to kind of be like. Alright, somewhere in that ballpark. We're just gonna kind of color the outline.
Alright, there we go. Now this shape here isn't 100%, you know. This is what the drawing was that I posted on the last video, and this is just to kind of give me the rough kind of what I'm looking for. Once I get it cut out and start shaping it, I'll determine what I like in my hand. So we'll go over to the bandsaw and get this cutting out.